Enrollment's about flat to up just a little bit if you include the select kids. So just on the rec side, you can say the same thing for baseball. Just on the rec side, it's down a little bit, but if you look at the overall program, it's up.
We're planning to expand or try to expand the select program to a couple more teams coming in the fall, so we'll see. It's kind of tough enough to crack, but we got 2 coming back for sure, the 2 that we have. So.
Mike Biesecker oversees volleyball. I appreciate all he did. We had a great fall volleyball season. I think the girls had a good time. We just shy of 200 kids playing this year every Saturday. We added a grade 1-2 offering for the spring clinic, which was very well attended. The spring clinic enrollment was up 60%. Mike's looking to do some things. We got great alignment again with the high school, and now the high school coach just quit, and she's moving to A&M Consolidated, so we're waiting to have a relationship with the next high school coach. But Mike's done a great job with that program. It's fun to watch those girls go out and play there. We had Adam Johnson, right, former pro volleyball player and Olympic athlete. He ran our clinics this past fall, and then Coach Kaz ran our spring clinic. So the girls have gotten a lot of experience there. Cheer. Each year Cheer's got around 100 girls participate in the LTYA cheer program. Cheer's adding a competition squad this year, tied to our Centex football relationship. Lisa Graves runs that program. She oversees it. She had some health issues last year, but she seems to be back at it this year in full force, so very, very happy to see that. And LTYA has been asked to host a regional cheer clinic, and that's being explored between the cheer leadership and the folks here at LTYSD in terms of how to do that. LTYA in the community, LTYA supported several family members in need, including the tragedy that we had in softball. So we have very powerful reach. CPR train 1,000 by 12/31. We launched that with Amplify Austin. Again, we've done nearly 400 kids. School PTOs, Melissa handles our relationship with the PTOs, but in general, we give each of the PTOs a free sport registration that they can use for their carnival or fundraiser. We're a Lake Travis Chamber member, and we do Spring Fest booths with them. We do a trade out for marketing for booth space, and Whitney ran all that. Leadership Lake Travis, a nonprofit. They get about 50 people that go, and they have a nonprofit day, and they go to all the different various nonprofits, and they hear about all the nonprofits in the area. So this is the second year in a row we've been tied into that. It was actually pretty cool, except I had to speak on a bus while it was moving this year. So we have LTYA night at all the high school varsity games, right, to get the kids involved in the sports. An LTYA day at Dick's Sporting Goods. We have online coupons all year under our sponsor offers, right? So never go to Dick's and pay full price for anything, right? Go to LTYA.org, even if you're on the counter. Click on LTYA.org and sponsor offers, and up pops your coupons. You get 10 or 20% off. Challenges. Cost of the new sports complex. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Lack of volunteers. We came out of the box short nearly 50 coaches in soccer this year. What we've learned through the Youth Sports Roundtable is that lack of coaches or lack of volunteers isn't unique to us. It's a challenge that everybody is having. So at the opportunity to state the obvious, there's 7 people on the ballot. 5 of you all are going to get elected. The other 2, I hope you don't go away, right? Because there's plenty of opportunity to help in sports and help in various different capacities. I think we've grown so big that there's a general lack of understanding of who and what we are. If you saw some of the emails and conversations that we have at the office, I think you would have a better understanding of that. There was a conversation not too long ago when a baseball volunteer was picking up some trash, and somebody came up to this volunteer and said, "Whose job is it to pick up all this trash anyway?" And he turned around and looked and said, "It's your job." I said, "What do you mean by that?" He goes, "I'm a volunteer too, dude. I pay the same amount of money that my kid play here, right? It's your job. It's her job. It's everybody's job. we're a volunteer organization. Yes, we have 2 paid positions in that. We do have a groundskeeper that's paid to, you know, cut the grass and line the fields, etc. But in general, right? Anybody want to guess how many player registrations we had in 2014? Corey, go ahead, take a guess. Huh? Put you on the spot.
2,000.
6,000. We had 4,740 player registrations in 2014. So,
That's a lot of kids playing sports.
player growth outpacing our volunteer growth. That's kind of tied to the lack of volunteers, but it's our player growth. The player growth is on a trajectory. The volunteer is on a positive trajectory too. It's just that the player growth is on a steeper slope than the volunteers, so we need to figure that. Sports delivered by all volunteer boards. As I tell people, just because you volunteer is an excuse to do your job poorly. I think everybody gives it their best effort, but sometimes they don't understand what they've volunteered for. And sometimes I think they're doing the best that they can be. They just don't have the experience or whatever it is. And some do a great job, right? But we have hundreds and hundreds of volunteers, which is good. We just need more than we have, and we need to make sure that everybody is equipped, has the tools to do a great job. We have tremendous field space limitations across all the board. Chip's favorite call to me now is, it rained again, can we get space at the high school? So we're scrambling to find field space. Our initiatives for 2015 are safety. Safety's got to be at the forefront of what we do. Fiscal responsibility, right, which is our numbers. I do what I do because I got fed up with the previous 10 years of what had happened here, and I don't want to ever see that again. The new sports complex, and we'll talk about that more in a bit. Improve our delivery of sports. This is about giving the tools and being able to transition from board to board, like Chip said, a little more seamlessly in schedule. Improve customer service in a volunteer-centric organization. I think we've done a great job at that. I think Whitney has helped tremendously in that role. Increase parent involvement. Improve coaching tools to make it easier for folks who want to coach. Enhance our community-centric feel. I think we've done a really good job there about being more than just a delivery of sports, about being out in the community. That being said, we have 4,740 player registrations. We have a database of 3,000 people, and I thank the 16 of you that are here listening. And continue our quest with Positive Coaching Alliance. The new sports complex. So the initial cost estimate came back last week at $15 million, which is more than double what we had expected. So we went through the process, just to talk through the process, right? And process was started several years ago by the board that was there at the time, Glenn Smith. I think they did a tremendous job. You know, this property was identified, and as people ask me what I think of it, my response is it's the flattest piece of hill country property I've seen that's for sale, right? So now it's the flattest piece of hill country property that was for sale, that's now owned by the city of Lakeway, that they would like to allow us to use at no cost for the next 100 years. So $4 million worth of free land is a positive. The bad news is it's hill country property, right? And nobody in their wildest dreams thought that the initial cost estimate would come back at $15 million. We did a conceptual plan from a fellow that was referred to us by somebody prominent in the community. Looked at that, wanted to go with somebody with a little more experience. We did some research. We came up with Bury. Bury did some stuff with Way and the 12 Fields guys. They're doing the Oaks project out here on 620. They have a principal who lives out here and plays, has a daughter that plays in the organization. Seemed like the right fit. And then we have this. Joe facilitated a meeting today. One of the people that are interested in buying our current property is a developer, and he didn't like what Beery had to say either. So he's actually paid his guys to redesign the field, and we sat there today for 2 hours, understanding all the bad things that were wrong with the design. So at this point in time, we're evaluating alternative plans, and I think the biggest challenge is we don't really have the expertise. We don't have the expertise per se to make confident decisions here, and at this point, we don't have any confidence in the numbers. So we're going to work strongly to get a plan that we can potentially execute, and we'll likely have to reinvest some additional funds to get confidence in the numbers so we can come to the board and make a decision. So the good news is we have the property. The good news is City of Lakeway has been absolutely phenomenal to work with. The good news is we have a very attractive piece of property that I don't necessarily think is going down in value every day that goes by. We've just got to figure out what we can afford on the new property and what it's going to cost and how long it's going to take to execute. There's lots of options.
I think it's also worth noting, Scott, that remember there's a couple other pieces out there. There's the Travis County bond, which is going to happen in the fall, which Gerald Doherty, who's our county commissioner, if in fact that bond goes through, then there'll be dollars allocated towards this. We still don't know exactly what that number is, but that'll factor in what we can do ultimately and build this out. And ultimately, the parent board has had a lot of conversations around the fact that there's going to have to be a significant fundraising effort brought forward, and through the community on a multi-year basis. So we've got a lot of balls in the air, and I mean this was, candidly a bit of a setback once we got this number. But I think we know everything that we always go through in life is going to have setbacks. It's not a deal killer, but there's alternative plans that we're now forced to look at because of basically the math where the numbers are.
Yeah, the first number was around 16 million. Then they went back and cut it, and it came back to just under 15, and then they went back and looked at it again and just came back at 17.7. So I don't know about you guys, but I don't know what $1 million or $2 million is between friends, but I don't know. For me in this, that's a little bit too big of a swing, so we have to work to get confidence in the numbers. I wish I had better news on the sports complex. Great news is we've got property and a great partner in the City of Lakeway. We've got lots of people out there trying to help us. I think we've come a long way on a very small amount of money. So that's what we've tried to do, is protect our cash position while moving the ball forward every